Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This is Chris. I hope you're doing great. Today we're going to talk about a couple of lights from Zhiyun. I don't know if you knew, but Zhiyun doesn't only make great gimbals that I have down there in the back, but they also make great lights. They came out with two lights recently, and that is the Fiveray F40 and the Fiveray F100. So I want to start first with the Fiveray F100, and the reason is that that thing is a powerhouse. I mean, this is really strong, and I'm going to tell you why. First off, this is small, powerful, versatile, and very easy to carry. It is under a kilo with 950 grams, and you can take it with you in any shoot or any location where you need a good, powerful, and strong light. As the name indicates, this is a 100 watts light. And in terms of power, it can output 20,708 lux at 0.3 meters. Now, Zhiyun claims that you can go all the way to 31 minutes using this light on maximum full power at 4,000 degrees Kelvin, which is where you get the most, and you have the boost option. And they say you can get 31 minutes out of that. So I did the test. First off, I was a little bit skeptical that this light could last that long with such a strong amount of light. And when I did the test, I found out that I got 29 minutes and 42 seconds out of it. So it's almost the 31 minutes that they claim. Now, batteries can vary. The state of the battery can change from a battery to another, depends on the ambient temperature and other factors that may change a little bit the time. So 31 minutes is very close to what I got out of this light on max power at 4,000 Kelvin, and I can tell you this is a powerhouse. The next question is, what about the cooling of this light? Because that amount of lux power and that type of lighting requires some cooling, otherwise it will catch on fire. The way they handle this is, I don't know all the technical specifications behind this, but I know they've been doing gimbals for roughly, give or take, 8 years. So they have a good R&D department. And what they did is they used a gyroscope technology from their gimbals into somehow the fans. So there's an array of 6 fans at the back, and each fan independently knows how much it has to spin in order to create the right airflow so that you have a good cooling system going on. So after those almost 30 minutes of full power, I touched the light and it was actually cool. It was not hot at all. The only thing that was a bit warmer was the bottom part here where the batteries are located, and it was literally warm at best. Let's now talk about the 3 modes this light provides. The first one is CCT, which allows you to change the color temperature. So you can go all the way from 2700 Kelvin to the cool 6200 Kelvin. So tungsten warm to cooler cold blue light, okay? And anything in between. This is the mode where you can go full power when you put it at 4,000 Kelvin and you press the top button here, it will boost the light and give you the max power, the max light that you can get out of this light. The second mode is the HSI mode, hue, saturation, intensity. So you can change basically the color wheel and you can change the hue to your light. That's great for photography or for video, and it will give you that splash of light depending on what you want to achieve. Now on top here they put a little bar that shows you which degree of temperature will give you the color that you want, the hue that you're looking for. The third mode is the effects mode, and the special effects mode basically gives you effects such as lightning, faulty light bulb, television, and other such effects, fire, that will be cool for your scene and make it a little bit more real. Let's now get into the different accessories that you get when you buy the combo version of this light. Okay, so the first one is the 2-leaf barn door that you have right here. So when you want to go around and transport this light, you can just close it like I did here, okay? There. So this will protect your light, and it will also just stay on it, so you don't have to take it off every time. What if you don't want to use barn doors at all? Well, very simple. You open them like so, all the way, and they're out of your way. So now the light can be used normally as if you wouldn't have any modifier. This doesn't block or obstrude the fans at the back at all, so it will allow you to use it very well. Cool? So this is the main modifiers, the one that will be used as a base for the rest of them. Okay, you can see there's a silver coating. I'll tell you more in a moment. Let's now tackle the second modifier that you find with this light when you buy the combo version, and that is softbox. Okay, so all you have to do really is you put this on your barn doors like so, And the result will be that you can have a diffused light. Now, the cool thing about this is, you see here, like I was telling you, there's some silver reflector, like coating on it. And what it will do is it will bounce the light around inside the softbox that you just created now, and it will give you a more diffused light and more powerful, more punchy light. It will basically use everything it can use to give you as much light as possible using the least amount of power. Last but not least, the grid. So the grid, you open like so, the little Velcro. And again, what you're gonna do with this is you're gonna be putting it on your barn doors. And now when you use your light like so, the cool thing is that it will really direct it to one direction, like I'm using with all my studio lights, so that I know exactly where my light is going and there's no light spill anywhere. That can be a bit of a hassle to have such a light and have light spills if you want to direct the light somewhere, create a little spotlight or whatever. And once again, you notice that we use the barn doors to put all of our modifiers on our light. That is very well thought. That's very cool, because when you're traveling and you don't want to bring a lot of lights, so you don't want the hassle of having to bring different modifiers, softboxes and so forth, you can use this. Now, obviously this is for a smaller setup because you have a limitation in terms of power, but if you want to create something quick on the go, you can do so without a problem. Let's now talk charging, because yes, it has a lot of power and that is cool, but what about charging for this light? It's very simple. On the side here, you'll find two ways of charging. The first one is the regular 120 watt DC charger that you plug on the wall and it will charge your lights. And the second one is a fast charger via USB-C. That is also very neat, because nowadays USB-C has become really a standard and everything we have has USB-C. It takes roughly 3 hours, give or take, between the different modes of or methods of charging. The case that comes with it is really cool. I did want to make a little mention because I like this light gray, very light gray that they use, the little Zhiyun in red logo, and inside there's styrofoam. Everything has a spot, everything has a place. All the modifiers fit inside without a problem when you open, the case. And it is comfortable to hold, compact enough to bring anywhere. And yeah, I like the design of it. It's cool. The next thing I want to mention here is the cons, the things I liked a little less. So the first thing is the sturdiness of the wheel, the back here. I find it to be a little bit, I would say not sturdy enough. And the reason for that is because the modes, CCT, FX, and HSI are on the, on the sides of it. So when you turn, if you don't have a good grip, well, you might press by mistake some of the functions. So you might be changing function in the middle of, if you're trying to change a color, temperature, the hue, and maybe you'll end up with the FX mode. And when it happens a bunch of times, it can be a little frustrating. What I think could be cool is to put 3 mode buttons at the bottom here. So the wheel is a dedicated wheel only to change the intensity of the different modes. The other point I noticed is the effects. They are cool, but they lack a little bit of randomness. And what I mean by that is, for example, thunder. The thunder will not happen twice in a row, the same time, the same power, the same pattern, and that's never going to happen. Usually when you have some lightning outside, you will have a lightning, and after some time you'll have another one, and they will not be the same, if you see what I mean. Same for a faulty light bulb. It is faulty, so you never know when the electricity is going to go through and what's going to happen, and I noticed these are pretty much always the same consistent effect. So maybe that's something that can be changed via software, and I think that could be even better. I found the fans to be a little loud. I don't think this is necessarily a con for Zhiyun or for the product itself. And the reason is that when you turn this thing on to over 20,000 lux, it is small. I mean, this thing is compact, so there has to be a sacrifice somewhere, if you see what I mean. So the fact of having 6 fans, you cannot put a big, huge fan that will cool down the whole thing. They're small. So being small and being that it's so powerful, they will need to, work and dissipate the heat. So yes, it does make sound when it's on full power, but it did take a good 2 minutes at full power to kick in and to start in increments going stronger and stronger. And the last point is the battery indication. When you look at the battery on the little LED, the little screen, you see that there are 4 bars, okay? Each one represents 25% of battery. When I started this at max power, after a few seconds, one of the 3 bars went down. So I was left with 3 bars after a few seconds, which basically tells you that you're gonna last 1 minute, right? If you think about it. But the second bar went down after 5 minutes. So that's not very consistent. The third bar went down at almost 15 minutes. So I did half of the power usage with 1/4 of the battery, quote unquote. That didn't make much sense, and that is a bit of a problem when you go out there and you need to shoot and you don't know exactly how much battery you have left. You cannot really trust that power indication. So again, I think this is something that can be fixed maybe with a software update. That would be great. Let's now tackle the F40. This little guy here is something I really liked a lot. I really enjoyed it because of how it's built, because of how it looks, and because it's so portable. I mean, this is so small. You can put it anywhere. It's like a big cell phone. You can put it in your back pocket. You can put it in your bag. And it is, again, a powerhouse. It has 40 watts, as the name indicates, and it shows it here. And it only weighs 320 grams, so it's barely noticeable. In terms of power, they claim that you can get 14,000 lux at 0.3 meters, which looks pretty correct, in my opinion, because this thing, you don't want to look at it straight in the eyes. It is very, very strong. The charging time is 1 hour and 50, give or take, and you will have your battery ready to go for another shoot. The power is shown with 4 little LEDs on the back. I did the test, max power, like I did for the F100, and every bar was going down at around 7.5 minutes, which is exactly the time that the battery lasted. So this is correct, and this is well done. It has 2/4 inch mounts. You have one here and one here. And when you turn this thing, which by the way, this is really cool. It's a metal stand that protects the little plastic dials here. So that's cool. But you can either put your tripod or whatever here, which basically raises the light, and you can angle it as you want, which is really cool. Or you can put it like so here, and it allows you to turn around like this, or just keep it closed and use it here, or keep it closed and use it here. There are many mounting systems and ways that you can use this light on, and that's again a plus because it makes it more versatile. All right, get this now. They claim you can get 29 minutes of full power out of this thing at 4,300 Kelvin. That's the temperature at 100% power that you're gonna get for 29 minutes. So I did the test like I did for the F100, and guess what? I got 30 minutes and 29 seconds. That is a minute and a half more than they claim. So this light really performs, and it will give you a lot of light for a long time. There is a bigger fan this time at the back that covers the entire basically circumference of your light. That will cool down your light. And when I say will cool down your light, it will actually cool down your light. After 31 minutes almost of lighting at max power, I touched this thing, and the battery section here where it says 40W here was barely warm. The rest was cool. There's a couple cons. These are really small cons, but I do want to mention them, okay? The first one is these orange wheels look absolutely gorgeous. It really gives that punch. It's really cool. The only thing is the writing on it is in white on orange. Unless you have a lot of light around, you can't even read what it says. So you would need your phone or another little light to be able to read what it says, especially when you turn it on and it's so bright that the contrast, you just can't read it. The second thing is the fan, okay? The fan noise, it tends to be pretty loud. So if you're gonna be using this again for recording audio, after a while, you're gonna start hearing it in the room. If you're outdoors, it's not a big deal, but yeah, just a detail. But again, they have to sacrifice one or the other. They can't do both perfectly. That concludes my review of these two lights from Zhiyun. I hope I answered any question you had or any curiosity. If you have anything left, write it down in the comment section below. I'd love to read your comments and answer as soon as possible. Do subscribe if you didn't do it yet. And I see you, like always, in my next video. Take care. Cheers.